Alright, so we're going to work on the mini bike again. In this video, my goal is to get it running and driving, to try to build this as cheap as possible. So far, the only thing we had to buy was the axle kit. So far that's the only thing we bought, and the square tubing. I'm just trying to see, how cheap we could build this and make it cool. So I got these 3 engines here. We'll just see which one looks best. So what I'll do is I'll set each one on and kind of go for looks, so try to see which one looks best. So I got the one engine on, and as you see, well, it's on. And I kind of set this next to it because they're about the same thickness and the same size. So whatever I figure out with this one, we could work with this one as well. I know I could probably make anything work, but I kind of want to just make something simple and quick for Mikey so he could just ride with us. Well, the exhaust sits right here because the thing is since Mikey's riding it, I don't want the exhaust to sit out of the frame any, because I don't want him to end up burning himself. So I don't think this engine will work. I'm going to take this one off and check the original Briggs & Stratton, because with the way those exhausts are, as you see, it comes straight out the back anyhow. So I think that one's going to be our best bet. Alright, so I got the other engine kind of bolted on, and so far I kind of like the way that looks. It gives it that old school look. As you see, I like how the exhaust kind of runs straight back, so we know we'll definitely have no issue burning himself. So now I'm going to see if the torque converter will line up. There's a pretty good gap on the bottom and right here, so won't have to worry about anything hitting. And then another thing I want to do is I want to use the cover. I should have one laying around, but I want to use the cover again. Mikey will be riding it, and I figured his hips or his legs kind of squeeze in, like whenever he's on like a mini bike or a go-kart, his legs want to kind of shoot in. So I don't want him to end up bringing his leg in and then getting caught up in the belt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, I believe I have 420 chain. I know it's not going to fit back here, but I could at least use it to kind of line it up. I'll get some, or I could just grab the chain from here, because this kit, we actually bought this kit off of BMI carts, and we bought the whole kit. It actually came with hubs, but this already has a keyway slot, as you see. So it came with all of these. The pillow blocks came with these, and it came with all the hardware, which the hardware actually looks real nice. The price honestly wasn't that bad for this whole kit. It's not a sponsor. I was just saying that's where we got it, and that's where actually we get a lot of our stuff, is from BMI carts. So if you ever need go-kart parts or mini bike parts or anything really, just go there, check them out. Alright, while I was in the garage, I also found a cover for this, and I found some bolts, and as you saw, I found these grips. But I also grabbed the chain that came from here for this sprocket to kind of see if these could line up. I'm guessing I have to bring this way, kind of straighten it out. So as you could see, I'm gonna have to scoot this over, but as you also see, the pillow block kind of is wider than the frame itself. So this is the closest I could get it without it touching. So now we'll see. Alright, so we're gonna have to figure something out to line those up, and I'm gonna set this cover on. I'll have Mikey come out, have him come sit on it. We'll mark it and cut it, and then from there, I guess we'll figure out carburetor and exhaust. So I took the exhaust off so I could figure out a good placement for this carburetor, and we could kind of set it, I believe, like so. Now I'll go here so that we don't have to worry about exhaust being too close. I traced out, I took that intake and I put engine carb, so I know which one goes to the engine, which one goes to carb, and I use these to mark and, you know, get the holes lined up. Alright guys, so got the carburetor on, and we have it where it's following kind of the body, and that's why this is curved this way too, to kind of just give it that flow. And then good thing is when your feet are on, you're way away from this. Alright guys, so what I just did was, there's fuel in that tank, and I just held it up to let some fuel go in the bowl. I wanted to test this intake before messing with the exhaust, because I figured if anything we'll just have to, you know, redo the intake. So I'm going to see if I can get it to pop off at least. Alright guys, it works. The exhaust kind of runs even with this. So right there where that mark is, I'm going to notch it out and then try to line up the pipe with this pole here. As you see, I pulled it this way so it's further away from the intake and the carb. And then what else I did is I did some cuts along the bottom, and I pulled it down a bit because before it was kind of aiming towards, you know. Tomorrow I'll probably work on chain and all that stuff. So what we're going to do, I got this, like, it was a torque converter like thing that you would bolt the engine on, and everything would bolt onto that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm thinking we'll put it like so, and then we'll have the sprocket go from the torque converter to here, and then from here to the rear axle. So it'll be kind of like a jack, well, it's going to be a jack shaft. So I got the our now jack shaft slash battery holder, if we get a battery on. This chain I got sized and on. This chain, I don't have this size chain brake, so I'm gonna have to get one. But this is how it's gonna look. As you see, we got the chain all situated, and I added this skateboard wheel to be a tensioner for this back one. And what we're working on now is, with how much pull is out here, I feel like we're gonna have flex on this end. So what I'm gonna do is, I got this back end of a trike, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off back here, so then this bearing will sit in here, and then we're gonna try to bolt it to this, and then hopefully that will strengthen up here so it doesn't bow or anything. Here's our idea. We got that one piece on here, and we just cut the other tab off and bolted it kind of loosely to this. And so what we're going to do now is, I'm going to bolt this side down, clean this side up, and then weld it here. So all I got to do now is hook up the brake and the tank, obviously, but I just added this bar. So what I want to do is, I want to start it. I put gas in the carb in the bowl, so I want to kind of start it and kind of give it a little gas just to see if this flexes. and to see if this chain tensioner works. As you saw the little test ride, I didn't want to go too crazy. I just wanted to see how the chains held together, and with what I did, it was a little, but it didn't pop. So what I'm going to do next is I got to finish up the brakes. I got the brake right here. I don't have this bolted down yet or tied down yet because I just wanted to kind of get everything set up. So what I did was I drilled a hole through here and ran a bolt through. I was going to just weld the head of the bolt onto this, but then I figured over time it might just start breaking off. So I decided to bolt it through. Alright guys, so this is the tank we were thinking about going with. But as you see, it's a little dented and I just believe too small for the look we're going with. So I'm going to go with a bigger one. So here we go. Well, there we go. I think this should be the right size, so let's mount it up. Alright, so I got the trike in the garage because it's been raining on and off. So now I'm going to try to figure out how to mount it in. Because of this part here, I'm going to have to raise it a bit. So I found a pipe, and luckily the pipe fits perfect. It was a lot longer. I cut it down. I'm going to get the clamps and clamp it down and kind of figure out how high we want it. Here's what I got so far. I got this piece of metal I bent up, drilled a hole, and I have it bolted down. And right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of setting the tank on it, kind of trying to bend it the best I can to where it needs to be. So this is the bracket that I just made. So now I'm going to take it off. As you see, I got it bolted there and there. It's welded underneath. So now I'm going to take it off, put the tank on, and then bolt it back on and see how it looks. So here's the tank on. As you see, I have it kind of level, only because I just want to make sure it gets enough fuel down here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up the fuel line and the fuel filter. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out something to kind of fill this gap to make it look good. Alright, so I got the fuel line on. So tomorrow I'll go get a little bit of gas and then we'll take it out and see how it does. Alright guys, so we got the trike out. I'm going to test it out a bit. So I'm going to put my helmet on and we'll get riding. Alright guys, so as you saw the test drive, this thing runs and drives real nice. When riding, I ended up hitting a stump, causing this bar here to go in a bit. So everything's all now shifted under here, and now the chain will pop. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, well, obviously fix this problem, but also tear it apart and get ready to paint it and just make it look nicer. So now I don't want to drag on this video much longer. So that's where we're at. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. And as always, I hope you enjoyed your cruise down the Lashment Road.